Give them a round of applause, lovely.
Hello. Oh yeah. Well, amazing. This is great. Are you hanging out? I'm gonna give some a little administration. You don't have to.
No, I don't. I don't want to.
Okay. You did your thing.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So
all right. Huge round of applause for Mr. Roberts. Thank you for being up here, getting this party started. So I do have a little bit of administrivia to go through to prepare you for the journey that we are about to be on. So we're so excited, super grateful to have you here. For those of you who don't know, as said, I'm Noelle Russell. You can definitely chat GPT me. Is that not the coolest thing ever? So you can look me up on any AI model, but you can also Google me. And I look up all the things I've done. But to give you a brief introduction to me, for those of you who don't know me, I do have some good longtime friends in the house since I met this. I've only been here until last year. Well, like everybody else who comes here as a tourist. But last year, Mr. Roberts gave me an opportunity to share with you on stage at the conference. How many of you were here at the conference last year? Okay, a few. See, I recognize some of you. So that's amazing. So thank you. So I'm super excited to have been able to come for that. And since then, have tried to come back as much as possible. I have yet to get my husband to join me, but he's coming next time because he thinks I'm working the whole time, which is right, mostly. But next time we're going to come have some fun and actually, hopefully give you a chance to meet him as well. But my journey into, this world actually started with the birth of my first son. I have 6 kids. So I always like to say that so you just know a little bit about me. It says something about someone who decides to do that in the world. So I have 6 kids, but my firstborn son is Max. He's 21 now, but when he was born with a condition known as Down syndrome. And he was my first, so I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know anything about what that would mean, but my doctors seemed to know. And so they shared with me their advice, and their advice was, you should probably, put him in an institution. That's the best place for him. The world will be protected from the world. And I get it, what they were trying to do. They must have seen the look on my face because they were like, I'm not, okay, maybe that's not a good idea. So we have another idea, but wait, there's another idea. There are also families, and these are actual families that I've met. There are families that will adopt children with special needs right from the hospital. And so these were the options they gave me, but there were 2 things that were true about me then and are still true about me now. One, I am a technologist, and I got into the world of technology the first time the world was going to end. Do y'all remember? Y2K. That's right. And we saved the world that night, by the way. You're welcome. So that was my journey into technology. I was, right out of school at that time. This is 1998. And IBM was desperately looking for people to help, just like now. So they were not asking people to graduate college. They were not asking people to be certified technologists. They were like, can you do this work? And if you can do this work, you can be hired by a team. It was the first time IBM released their requirement to have a bachelor's degree to join their company. Today, all of the top 7 technology companies have 0 requirement for a bachelor's degree because the thing they hire for is building. They want to know, can you do the thing? Not did you sit in class and listen to someone tell you about how to do the thing, but can you actually do it? That's why I'm super excited. We have like a certified person in house, early age certified. Like that's how you can tell. Certification means you actually practically know what you're talking about. So that was my first superpower. The second thing that's true about me is I come from a very big family, a Latin family. I'm, a Latina Boricua is what they would call me, but basically I'm a New Yorican, which means I was born in New York in the 70s. And what that means is that I do not know Spanish. My AIs know Spanish. So my AI can speak very good Spanish, but all these people who have seen me, my AI on the internet speak Spanish, they come up to me and they're like, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, no. But my white German husband speaks more Spanish than me. So I'm like, but he speaks Spanish. And they're like, I don't know what's happening. But that's the world we're in. So I am a technologist. I'm a Latina. And what that means is that I don't back down from a challenge. And at that time, my son was the biggest challenge I had ever faced. So being a technologist, the only superpower I had was technology. So I was like, all right, I'm going to solve this problem. I'm going to build technology. I ended up at Amazon in 2013. my job at Amazon was being a principal cloud architect. Do you know what the cloud is? Some of you definitely do. But I also know some of you are not the kind that will hand raise or yell in a room full of people. So I get that. I understand that. But I was a principal cloud architect. I was helping the biggest companies in the world figure out how to leverage cloud technology. And then Jeff Bezos sends an email to the company and he says, hey, we're going to build a new project, the Star Trek computer, right? The Star Trek computer is going to be, basically, we're going to be able to build a box you can talk to. And I was like, that's it. This is the tech I've been waiting for, right? Because now the only thing I have to do with my son, who's now 9 years old, the only thing I have to do is teach him how to speak. And if I can teach him how to speak, that box can unlock everything for him. And this was in 2013. So more than 10 years ago now, right? So this became my mission was, oh my goodness, if I could just build a box capable enough, it could unlock capability, freedom, independence for people who cannot get there on their own. And that's why when I talk about AI, I talk about a love for artificial intelligence that most people don't understand at first. But it's because of my son and what it's allowed him to do in his life. He's 21 years old now. He speaks very, very well. A lot of people say that, a lot of kids with Down syndrome don't have a lot of verbal capability, but Alexa taught him to speak. But here's why it was so powerful is that this technology, which is what you're going to build today, this technology allows you to meet someone where they are. So the most important thing you need to understand is where is the person you're trying to serve so that you can build technology to meet them. Understand that. So I went to Amazon. I got on this team. I was employee 10 on Amazon Alexa. Do you know Alexa? Yes. So I was employee 10 on Amazon Alexa. I started building apps for Alexa. I remember Jeff Bezos walks into a room, he pulls up a whiteboard and he's like, here's all the apps I want. And it was like workout apps and music apps and nutrition apps. He was getting all buff back then. I don't know if you remember this part of his life, but anyway, he was getting all buff and he was very interested in like physique and nutrition. And I was not interested in any of that. So I've done something I'm now known to do in the industry. I raised my hand and I was like, excuse me, sir, real quick, could I build something other than what's on that list? And here's what he told me and what I hope will serve you today as you start building. He said, build whatever you want. It just not on Amazon time. So he was like, do whatever you want. Just do it at home on the weekends, at night. And I was like, okay, no problem. But the second thing he said is build what people want. He's make sure whatever you do, you build what people want. And if they don't want it, you get rid of it. You kill it. And so in the age of AI, what that means is that we don't just go and build what we want, which is similar to how I got into AI. We build based on what we see, a need in the world, a need in our clients, in our employees, in our customers, in our friends, in the world of service. So you'll notice we have some awards that people are going to get today. You might build something today out of an idea of like, I know this is a gap and this gap is huge and I want to solve for it. So don't build anything unless there's an outside in the world interest for the thing that you need. And then he only said, only build what people need. But what he meant was not only figure out what people want, but also create a mechanism for tracking and understanding if they like what you built. So that's what we call a feedback loop. You'll see us talk about that next in the next section. But you have to create a full cycle of, I'm going to build it for someone. Then I'm going to ask them. I call it designing with inclusivity, right? Asking them to bring in their perspective. Before I launch it, before I give it to people, I'm going to ask someone. For me, with my son, I built lots of apps for kids with Down syndrome. I don't have Down syndrome. I did not ask my son until after I built it. Many of you probably have had this experience where someone in technology, or maybe you're the tech person, and we build, and we're like, this is going to be awesome. And then we give it to the person we built it for, and they're like, it's great. I love it. And so it doesn't really work out that well because we didn't ask the person. Right? It's almost like we're trying to build a surprise. But there's no good surprises in technology and business. Like you want to plan. And so Jeff Bezos encouraged us to always design with the customer in mind, with the person we're trying to serve in mind. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do today. Even if you don't have an idea yet, or if you have an idea, I want you to really revisit the idea and make sure that the one thing driving you is that it's going to help somebody. And the main reason for that is that this idea you have, you're going to build something today and you're going to be like, well, that was pretty cool. But in order for you to keep building it, it has to be something that you absolutely care about, which is why I did what I did in AI, because I had my son. Every day I went home, I'm like, building this for you. We got this. We got this. And every day he'd be like, not that, Mom. No, not that. And then I finally figured it out. And I was like, what do you want? What would you need? Like and you know what he asked me for? He asked me for a way to control YouTube and Spotify with his voice. This was before voice remotes. So I didn't have to do anything. They eventually showed up. But that was what he was needing. And I was building him like emotional apps for him to click buttons and tell me how he was feeling. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks. I could tell on his face, his emotion, actually. But it encouraged me. What encouraged me the most was that I realized I just needed to ask the question. So today you might not have a chance to ask the person you're building for, or the audience you're building for, or the persona you're building for. But know that that is a very quick second step after you do what you do today. If you get excited about it, do not get super excited and kind of run and be like, oh my gosh, we're going to put this in the market. We're going to make $1 billion. The very next step after ideating, after building your first product, is to actually go find the users and get their feedback. And some of those users might be industry. So I ended up building, so I asked him these questions. He's like, make sure you build. I started building mindfulness apps, prayer apps. So I built positive prayer, daily affirmation, mindfulness, meditation. These were the apps I built on Alexa. And the entire time people told me no one needs meditation or mindfulness or prayer on this device. That's what the people around me were saying. Now, the reason they said that was because none of them were, I was the only Latina, of course, the only woman, maybe also surprising, not surprising. The thing that was most surprising is I was the only parent on the team. On Alexa, the only person who had children. And for those of you who have children, it changes you a little bit. Your perspective shifts. And so not only that, though, I was also taking care of my dad. So I was the only person, I call it the sandwich generation, where I'm raising my children and kind of sort of reverse raising my dad in my house. Being like, don't touch that. Do not take out the trash. Do not stop. That is my experience, which is very different than people who are, 22, 23, 25, who haven't even gotten married yet. And so when I started building these applications, everyone around me said, I'm not sure that's a great idea. As a matter of fact, one person told me, they're like, no one needs mindfulness in the kitchen. And I was like, yeah, wait till you have kids. Like, you will 100% be like, oh, I see what you were doing there. And they have now. It's been 10 years. They've all come back and been like, I got you now. I see. I cry over my dishes on a daily basis. So it's something right now. All of you are here because you have, you've been invited, and either someone sees in you or you see in yourself that you could build something pretty amazing with this technology. And that's what our hope is today, is to give you the tools to do that. But the most important thing is that you have an intuition that other people won't know. And so as you start building stuff, I encourage you to ask people what they think, but it doesn't matter because you know. And if you're building it, and then go talk to your users. Because I found out there were 2.8 million people who were interested in using mindfulness on Alexa. I have millions of users every day. But if I listen to those people, not the voice in my head, which was bad enough, but to the people around me who are like, nobody needs this, 2 million people have never had an opportunity to get a little bit of peace in their kitchen in 2014. So this is the opportunity that you have to massively change the world through an idea you had that maybe no one purely understands. You actually have a chance to build it and get it into production. We call it from idea to execution. I want to talk about that today. So that's my journey. I ended up at Microsoft right after Amazon. I ended up getting an opportunity to build what today's known as Copilot. I then was a tester on ChatGPT during COVID as well. Had an opportunity to launch OpenAI's first model into market in 2022. So I am always on, I kind of find my way into rooms where they're productizing software. So that's AI systems. Today I'm on Google's AI team. So I'm an outsider testing. And this is a huge part of AI. Every big company does this. They hire people like me to test their software. I'll give you an example. Apple hired me when they launched the Playground. Have you ever used the icon Playground? Yeah, it's called like Emoji or something. Anyway, so it's like a little playground. Well, when they first launched it, I was like, ooh, I got this. I want you to build me an Afro-Latina holding a big tiger. And it generated this image of a brown girl with a gigantic afro. I was like, okay, see why you did that, right? Because you said Latina, brown skin, black girl. Okay, again, afro. And so I was like, no, long curly hair. And it just took the afro and made it longer. I was like, no. So like this hair. It took me 60 times to get that model to do anything even remotely close to my hair. But in all cases, some of you women will understand. It gave me hoop earrings. I don't wear hoop earrings. Like the model seemed to think I was J-Lo or something, which I like. It's kind of nice at first, but then you're like, no, for real. Like I don't wear hoop earrings. You don't have to put that. But I could not get it to stop. Today, if I ask a model without detailed prompting to generate a picture of me, it will put hoop earrings on my ears to this day because it thinks Puerto Ricans from New York wear hoop earrings. It drives me insane. But these are the types of things like only you will provide that feedback. Only you will be able to change these models. So that's what we're hoping to do today is really unlock your ability to use a model, but then also become viscerally critical of the model behavior. Because that's the good news is that you control these models. You have an opportunity to actually tell the model what is good and what isn't. It took me 60 times. The hoop earrings are still there, but the hair is actually very good. And granted, I spent months training that model on Hispanic Afro-Latina hair. So that is something that I'm going to encourage you to take on the mantle of. It's just building, testing, and providing feedback. And we'll talk about this life cycle a little bit later. So I ended up Microsoft. After Microsoft, I built a business. I got hired by a consulting firm to build a new AI company. I took that company from nothing and actually, secretly, went and grabbed all people of color, all women, and created a practice. And the reason I did that is because everyone told me we couldn't make money with this type of AI. It was generative AI in 2022. And they're like, you can't make money. I'm like, great. Do you mind if I just build my own team? And they're like, sure, do whatever you want. I'm like, okay, great. We're going to do this. We went from 0 to 300 million in 9 months, 300 million in revenue. No one in the company had ever seen anything like it. Like a matter of fact, they were like, oh, I don't know what's happening right now. Everybody was in shock. As a result of that, we generated $1.2 billion in revenue over the 6 months that followed because the early money generates more money. Anyway, it's their biggest, most profitable part of their business today. But it started with people doing it Jeff Bezos style, working at night and on the weekends to learn what you're learning today, and then put it into practice and connect with the people they were trying to serve. So all we did was say, hey, we built this thing. Would you like to see it? They saw it and they're like, how do we do this? How do we get this to work? I'm like, oh, well, that's going to cost you. And like, sign me up. We generated massive amounts of value for the companies we helped and massive amounts of revenue. So needless to say, after I made 300 million for a company, I was like, maybe I could just make a couple million for me. So I quit and started my own company, and that's what brings me here to you today. So in the journey that we're on today, you will be needing your laptops. We will be having you split off into groups. However, you do have the option. I was one of those people who was like, don't want to work in a group. I don't even know how to talk to people. So if you don't want to work in a group, that's okay. I will tell you, though, that every company you join in, you'll be working in groups. So what better place than a safe environment we cultivated? All these people are nice, I can promise you. I think, well, at least, okay, some of these people are not. No, I'm just kidding. But everyone, like, this is the safest room you can be in. So working in a group in this space, even if you don't know anyone on your team, is a really valuable experience. So I would encourage you to opt into that. The second thing, if you have your computer, hopefully, you will also be needing the Wi-Fi. So we just sent you an email from Eventbrite, or no, actually direct to you. If you registered, hopefully you all did, you'll get an email with the password. I tried to say it's ridiculously long. If you don't have access to your email for some reason, there is a placard on the registration desk outside, and you can just go take a picture of it. It's 16 characters, and it's like capital N, lowercase e with a $, and then 15 more characters. So I can't tell it to you, but it's either in your inbox. If you don't have it, though, and of course, if you get it, share it with friends. But you can also just grab it on the desk outside. Just really quickly, restrooms, because we're going to be working hard. We are not taking specific breaks. You will be given time to work, and during that work time, I'm going to encourage you to take care of yourselves, get water, hydrate, and the restroom is right out these doors to the right. Hopefully, very easy for you to see. We also encourage you to, if you have a cell phone, it'd be good to, at least silence it. I would think for a few of you, just turn it off. Just be like, out. But that is one of the things, distractions, it'll be a very hard thing for you to do if you're constantly like checking your email. That's why we do it here. It's why I don't do these vibe-a-thons in companies, on company like locations. I force them to go somewhere, because if you're on site, people will be like, so real quick, just 2 minutes. It's never 2 minutes, by the way. Don't ever say that to people. It's never 2 minutes. Can I get a second here? No, it's never a second. But to avoid that distraction, I would encourage you to turn off your notifications, or at least put it on silent, so that your distraction doesn't become everyone's distraction. And then finally, of course, we're going to encourage you to have some fun. We do have a few slides. Did you want to say something specifically?
I was reminded to inform you, Noelle, talk about doing your app and whatnot, or whatever the idea is, to be able to think about serving others. So I wanted to help you to understand, while we understand there's 4 basic needs of humans, right? The ability, want it to be certain or security, the variety, connectedness, and then significance. But there are 2 other human needs that we don't think about a lot. One is growth. That's what you see here today. You have the ability to grow personally and professionally. And the last is contribution, which you are now doing. You will learn how to grow today in building the app, but you have already contributed, because all of today's proceedings is going to a organization that I feel personally responsible to, because I was there for several years of my younger years, and that is the Ramfully Home. They have a serious need today to sustain the lives of those young people, because when they turn 18, they have to leave. They're awarded to the state. And we have to find a better way of contributing and helping sustain them so they can develop into productive citizens. So I just want to let you know that all of your presence and time and your effort in contributing to this goes to that length, to them. And so thank you very much for that.
Yes, huge impact opportunity, not just for you, but for those who are going to help with this. I did want to also mention, we do have a couple mentors in the room that are going to be helping. You will see them on stage, but we're going to just be walking around during build time, so you are welcome to ask us questions. I will be one, but we also have Chenzen here. So he is in, can you stand up for me? So, and Omari right next to him. So they are both going to be your mentors. And then we'll be walking around just making sure, as we get into building, we will be helping you. So the biggest thing you can do, you don't even have to raise your hand. We're going to be watching. So if you look like you're stuck, we'll just be like, how's it going? And so just say, I need help, or just look at us with those eyes. And then we'll be like, okay, let's help you. So sometimes people struggle with the help. So we're really grateful. I think I went through all this. Yes. So network password. Okay, got it. So this is our day. We are on our way, introducing, we're getting going. You know a little bit about me. You know Mr. Roberts. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of the other 2 mentors going to share their stories with you. But then we're going to get into the first stage of today. I have delivered hundreds, maybe 600 hackathons. Are you familiar with the term hackathon? So a hackathon is like a technical project like this, where people get into a room and they build things. However, a hackathon, the reason it's called hacking is because you had to do things very crudely, very rough. Like you just had to like duct tape things together to get it to work. And you didn't have, like it took a long time to duct tape everything. So you had a little bit of time to plan, and you had to spend the rest of your time duct taping code together to get it to work. Today, with the help of our AI systems, the opposite is true. Building is the easiest thing you will do today. Building and creating something that looks amazing and that's valuable, the building part is the easiest. The hardest part is figuring out what to build and how to describe what you want to build to a model so it actually does what you say. So we're going to spend the first half of today planning out, deciding on your use case, planning out the build, and then the second half of today, telling the machine what to do. And the better you do at the beginning, the more successful you will be at the end. Now, here is the good news, is that as we go through this process, we'll define the use case, we'll break for lunch. We will then start vibing. During the afternoon build session, the mentors, myself, will be walking around and we'll be evaluating you. I mean, not like in a judgmental way, but we'll be looking at you and we have a scorecard that we'll be using to measure how well you've been able to do the tasks at hand. We have 4 different awards. You'll learn, I don't want you to build to the test, so you don't get to learn what they are. I mean, of course, you can go look at them, but the rubric for measuring the success is going to be shared with you right before we start building. So you will get to see how we're measuring your success today, but it will be a function of just keeping with us, staying present, and actually designing the idea, building the prompt, and implementing it in a system. We are going to use 2 systems today. I'm going to share with you. You can use anything you want. If you want to burn your own tokens on Pod, meaning spend your own money on an AI system you already own, feel free to do that. If you have a company that's paying for them, go for it. No, I'm just kidding, because some of the CEOs are in the room, so don't do that. But you are not bound by what we are sharing with you. These tools have 3 million tokens available for your use. And that's how I prefer to get started, is with an environment I don't have to pay for. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you, but exporting it out of that environment is very simple. Okay, so vibe coding. We've talked a little bit about this. What is vibe coding? So I just want to share with you the definition in case you were not sure. I mean, Bahama vibes just sounds nice. We actually have 7 states that are vibing these days. We have Chicago vibes. We have Miami vibes. That's actually the one that started it all, like Miami vibes. I was like, this is awesome. And then Tampa vibes. We have Boston vibes. So these are rooms just like this, where we get a bunch of people together that have never, some of you know each other, most of you know each other, but never been together before. And we put them in teams and they start building. It's an extremely exciting skill set, and we want to reward you for that effort. The idea is, most important, you're going to spend most of your time designing what you want, describing what you want. Who is it for? What do they need? What does success look like? Right? That's the most important thing you're going to do today, is decide, okay, I want to build a dashboard for visualizing everything in a network. What does that look like? What does success look like? What would somebody using that tool be like? This is amazing. So when we get to building and planning, I'm going to talk to you about a philosophy called minimum remarkable product. Have you heard of MVP before? Minimum viable product. So MVP is a standard technology and, well, really industry term that represents building something that's just good enough to get it into the hands of customers. Barely good enough. The challenge with viability is that you're not evaluating how good it will be to experience that product. Today, you're going to work on remarkableness. You're going to build the smallest possible version of your vision, of your idea, but it's going to be remarkable. And I'm going to share with you a rubric for deciding what that looks like. So first thing, you're going to use your words. I like to say that because I say it to my kids all the time. You're going to use your words to describe the idea that you have, the problem you're trying to solve, and the way you think you want to solve it. There is a term that I use in vibe coding called Socratic prompting, Socrates. Basically what this means is that you are going to ask questions, not tell systems. Most of you, if you're using AI today, are doing like vending machine AI, right? Where you're like, give me this generated image, build me an email, rewrite this. Like you're telling it what to do. The new AI, which was just released, there was one released a few days ago, another one released today. The new AI is what ends up happening when you try to tell a model what to do is it does exactly what you say, but there's way better ways to do the thing you told it to do. But it won't tell you. It'll like, okay, you asked me, I'll do it. So what we want to do is we want to say, hey, of all of the things you know about the world, what is the best way to solve this problem? We want to ask the model to help us solve the problem, not tell the model how we think it should be solved. Most people do not do this. And it is the difference between 95% of projects that are failing and 5% that are winning. And that's an actual statistic of production success. So we're going to speak our idea. We're going to partner with AI through Socratic prompts. How should I do this? Am I doing this the right way? What would be the best direction? How should I do it? The it is the most important thing. Your responsibility is to define what you want to do. Do not do not try to tell a machine how to do something. You can, but it'll be limited. It'll limit your ability to actually massively evolve the solution. And then, of course, iterate fast. So once you build it, it won't work. I'm just going to say this. Right? Every AI system starts broken. Every single one. You're going to build an AI system today that's not perfect. That's why I tell you, you should build something you love, because it's going to frustrate you. And the only way to keep building is if you actually love it. If you're like, okay, I know you hurt me yesterday, but I'm coming back because I'm passionate about the outcome. So iterating fast. The example, we have a couple of clients in the audience where we go and we talk to people and we just ask them, do you like what you see? And if they say yes, we're like, well, awesome. If they say no, we literally iterate in the moment in a meeting. I mean, imagine it being able to actually build and change the software that you're deploying. So this is the rubric that we will be measuring you against: innovation and creativity, practical usefulness, execution, pitch quality. I know, I saw your faces. Pitch quality, which is basically, can you say the thing out loud? It's only 15%, so you can still win and not say anything. 10% is relevance to our community, and that's just because we care about impact. We want you to build something. Some of you are going to build something that will save the world, change society, improve people's lives. And so this is, you'll get bonus points for doing that. All right. So we just want to plant the seed. I'll go over it. You'll have 3 minutes per team. That's not a lot of time. We will do the Oscar, like music plays and yank you off the stage kind of thing. So just prepare yourself for that experience. All right. So before we get into this, the sequencing and the building, which we'll come to in just a few minutes, I thought it would be really valuable for you all to learn how, like, the mindset of a builder, right? How do people think? They do this all the time. How have certain individuals, and we happen to have someone in Mr. Roberts' organization that has built many of these systems. So how do we take advantage, right, of this mindset? And so I wanted him to share his perspective with you. So I'm going to ask Chen-Sin to come to the stage, and he will be sharing with you his perspective on what I call the agent development lifecycle. It's basically, how do you go from idea to execution? But this is going to be focused on the process that you're going to use. So let's give him a huge warm welcome.